In this video, I will be speaking briefly about Hieronymus Bosch's life and one of his triptych paintings that really stood out to me. He was a very important artist during the Renaissance era. He was born around 1415 to a family of artists. His real name is Jerome von Eycken, but he later changed his name to reflect the town he was living in, Den Bosch. He took Hieronymus as his first name, which meant Jerome in Latin. There was not much known about his early life, but when he was a child, he experienced a fire that brought the medieval city to the ground. People were panicking and screaming for their lives. This can partly be why he painted very dark images later in his life. He took part in a Christian organization, the Brotherhood of Our Blessed Lady, and they had their own chapel in the St. John Cathedral. Several of his commissions were for the Brotherhood. His work filled the Brotherhood's chapel in St. John Cathedral. His creatures in these paintings were inspired directly from the cathedral by the Gothic architecture. There are a numerous of gargoyles and creatures that he depicts in his paintings. The panel, when it is closed, depicts the world being created by Jesus as he is shaded into the background. On the top left, his hands holding a book. And the translation of what is written above the panel says, "For he spoke and it came to be. He commanded and it stood firm." From Psalm 33:9. When the panel is open, Bosch presents a visionary world of fantasy. From the left panel, your first glance is God presenting Eve to Adam, as well as many other animals surrounding them. The fields are a luscious green, and there is also a giant, beautiful fountain that resembles human organs. The central panel depicts paradise, people dancing in the nude, exotic figures. Everyone seems to be in their youthful prime. There are people of African descent dancing, as well as men holding fish out of the water. There's a group of men corralling women in another body of water. Birds are feeding berries to mankind, and birds and fruits are a sign of fertility and procreation. This panel shows the behaviors of mankind that brought upon the flood. Bosch is advising viewers on the merits of marital life. In this last panel, those who didn't learn the mistake that Adam and Eve made are damned. The right panel depicts Bosch's version of hell. He painted gargoyles and demons devouring and punishing people, in contrast to the other tones in the other two panels. This one is much darker. He painted a glutton vomiting eternally, a miser squeezing gold coins from his buttocks. There is a man crucified on a harp, a knife cutting through years as a punishment against those who were deaf to the words of Christ. A hostile army is seizing the city as you see it in flames. The two figures near the volcano are representing the eternal fight between good and evil. If you pay a closer attention to his pieces, you'll notice how he presents and repeats his images of demons again and again. He includes a self-portrait in the last panel with a head full of bagpipes and his torso in reverse with a crack as if it turned into an egg. His legs are tree branches and are decaying onto sea boats that are floating away, referencing to a lost man. A woman stares at her reflection for eternity. She closes her eyes in distress. A man is being held down to a gambling table with a hand that holds a dice and a knife in reference to Matthew 2:12. Our country is in paradise, to which, after we have come to knowledge of Christ, we are forbidden to return the way we came.